Jazzy Jasmine is out. New York City is still a hellhole. And our very special guest, Washington gun law president William KIRK. This is The Loaded Mic, and I'm Dan Was. All right, so we're going to talk about a lot of stuff here today on The Loaded Mic with, if online disputes were currency, he'd be able to fund a counter-revolution. John Chiara. And he's not looking for trouble, but he does keep a snowplow on his truck all year round, you know, for left-wing protesters, just in case. Anthony Diso. But I am very happy and proud to introduce our friend of the show, and Washington gun law president William KIRK. Bill, we're in rare form today, so I hope you're ready.
You guys are in rare form.
Well, we don't know what's going to happen. This show
Dan's back from vacation, so you never know.
This is a classic example of if you really like sausage, don't watch it get made. So,
yeah.
Right?
Right.
Exactly. Polished product is much better than the raw data, isn't it?
Always.
Well, you know what happens when we kind of freeforming a lot of stuff today, and when we do, it usually turns out better. You know, it turns out funny, and we usually touch on topics that we never even thought we'd talk about. But so today, while we have you, because I know we only have you for a short time, thanks for being here, and I want to talk about all the gun-related stuff, the Second Amendment-related stuff, the legislation, the statewide stuff that you're dealing with these days. We'll call it the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, let's do it.
Go ahead.
Break it down.
Yeah, go ahead. However you want to start.
Let's just go in order. Let's talk about the good, because, you know, oftentimes, and for content creators, and if we're really honest, the stuff that gets clicks is the stuff that's pissing everybody off. Right? It's not often we get to do good videos. And so I think my sphere has gotten a little stuck in a rage clicking kind of mentality. And so I always look for positive things. I always look for things going on. And I think that when you take a 35,000 foot view of what's happening with the Second Amendment on a nationwide level, it's mostly positive news.
Good.
Why we have a lot of states that we talk about on the channel all the time that are trying to find the inner limits of the Second Amendment. We have 3 states out there currently right now trying to find the outer boundaries of the Second Amendment. They're West Virginia and Kentucky, who are both kicking around pieces of legislation right now that would actually legalize the sale of machine guns inside the state. Now, we can get into whether or not that can be legally possible, but they are definitely testing the outer boundaries. And then the state of Idaho is taking a mildly different approach where they're setting up the infrastructure to distribute and transfer automatic weapons to its citizens in the event that there are some shifts in federal gun law. So again, testing the outer bounds of the Second Amendment, I like to see that, because so frequently we got these states like California, my home state, Illinois, New York, your state, that are always trying to see how far can we erode in. So I think that's a good thing.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned West Virginia, because Gun Owners of America was there just past few days, talking on the topic with the committee, and my friend Alex Shea was there. And
I know Alex, great dude.
Oh, good. Yeah, Alex is a great guy.
And half the man he used to be too right now.
What's that?
Right? He's about half the man he used to be also.
Oh, is he?
Have you seen it? Yeah, he's dropped a bunch of LBs.
I haven't seen him.
Oh yeah,
I talked to him just the other day.
I saw him at SHOT Show, and he's literally like half his size. He looks.
Oh
great.
Wow, good for him. Alex Shea is a good guy and good representative for Gun Owners of America. He was there. So can we start? Why don't we start there? Why don't we start with West Virginia?
Yeah. So the way the legislation would work is the state would create an Office of Public Defense, which would be run by the state police, who would then accumulate automatic weapons, which is absolutely permissible under federal law. And then they, upon passing a background check and paying the appropriate prices and licensing fees and things like that, would then transfer those to private West Virginia citizens. The issue is going to be, does the exception in 18 United States Code 922.0 actually permit that. That's where the rubber is going to meet the road. And that's exactly what the state of Kentucky is doing as well. So they're both identical pieces of legislation. Now, I'm going to be doing an interview in a couple hours with an attorney out in West Virginia, because I understand that Senate Bill 1071, which is the bill, and yes, GOA was very, very influential on getting this legislation through, passed out of committee. So it's ready to go back to the floor, the Senate floor, to be voted out of that chamber. And the committee chair is holding it up and not reporting it as passed out of committee. So I'm going to be talking to a West Virginia lawyer in a couple hours. We're going to get to the bottom of that.
And what is that roadblock we're talking about for this particular thing?
The roadblock is that there's case law out there. There's a case from back in the early 90s called United States v. Warner. There's a case that recently just came out of the, I believe it was the 8th Circuit, called United States v. Wendt. And both of those had said, listen, the exceptions that are written into 922.0 by transfer to government agencies and from government agencies are meant to be intra-governmental agencies, so law enforcement, National Guard, things like that. That those types of transfers, or the exceptions that are articulated in the federal statute, do not encompass private citizens. And I do believe that if either one of these states pass these laws, and the governors will sign them, there's no doubt about it, you'll see lawsuits immediately dropping, and everyone's thinking, oh, the lawsuits, every town and Giffords and all that. Yeah, they'll jump in on it, but no, I'll tell you, the first lawsuit to drop will come from the United States Department of Justice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind. Because these guys have seen how they've doubled down on some of the, now that we have some items down to $0 taxation, there's a question as to whether or not all of the extra registration requirements are even necessary.
Well,
the only case law that ever supported that said it was for tax keeping purposes.
And let me ask you about that, because...
Yeah. Because it was being taxed, because
exactly,
the transfer of these items was subject to taxation. What the Supreme Court back in the 30s, in a case called United States versus Honzinski, said, oh, no, this doesn't violate the Second Amendment. None of this has anything to do with the Second Amendment. This is all for tax record keeping purposes, tax enforcement purposes. So the NFA has always survived under this whole premise of, hey, listen, it's all about taxation. Well, now all of a sudden, when these items are no longer being taxed, what's it about now?
Yeah, why do we need to register them now at this point?
Bingo.
Well, of course, there's an underlying reason they wanted all this, and that's for the registry.
Right, and then the Department of Justice has come out and almost argued that, but they have doubled and tripled down. And even though you got letters from Representative Andrew Clyde to Pam Bondi, 2 letters, in fact, saying, hey, when we dropped these down to $0 in the big, beautiful bill, we did intend for the registration requirements to go away as well. But Bondi's office is absolutely defending these laws to the nth degree. So if West Virginia or Kentucky passes a statute that says we're going to be able to transfer automatic weapons to private citizens, I guarantee DOJ is dropping a lawsuit the very next day.
But yeah, so that makes total sense, that you get rid of the tax. There's no justifiable reason for the registration, right?
No, if you get rid of the tax, then what you do is you do a regular Second Amendment analysis on these items. Okay, just a plain old Second Amendment analysis. Say, do we have a historical tradition of requiring registration of firearms? Actually, no, we don't. We have a historical tradition of doing quite the opposite.
Yeah.
So without the taxation, I'm not sure how the registration continues to stand. But the Department of Justice hell-bent on, and if they're hell-bent on supporting that, well, what are they going to do when a state wants to sell machine guns?
Yeah. Well, I brought us off track with the NFA stuff, but so feel free to go back to where you were.
Here's another good thing. United States versus Hamani was argued Monday morning before the United States Supreme Court. Everybody, myself included, we all predicted that Hamani was just going to get just creamed at that. Okay. And for people who don't know, this is the challenge to 18 United States Code 922G3, the prohibition on people who use illegal controlled substances for possessing firearms, but really it focuses on cannabis. And cannabis is a big issue because we have a lot of states right now that have legalized cannabis. Some people are using it for recreational purposes. A lot of people are using it for medicinal purposes. But Hamani had facts with him that made him just like Rahimi, the previous Supreme Court case, potential ties to Iranian terrorist organizations, possible drug dealer, all sorts of horrible facts. And we had all said that those facts were just inescapable, that the Supreme Court could never find in Hamani's favor unless they truly stuck to the actual question, which is it against federal law for a person to own a Glock handgun and occasionally be a cannabis smoker? Because those were the operative facts.
Yeah.
And so we expected that this was just going to be a bloodbath and the United States would prevail easily. I actually think it's going to come out the other way. I think Kamani's going to win. And I think for people who are either medicinal or recreational cannabis users in states, there's going to be a path for legal armament coming forward, probably as early as this summer when Kamani is announced. So that was a very pleasant surprise. I also think it's going to be an untraditional type majority where you may have 3 of the conservative justices as well as the 3 liberal justices joining in the majority.
Well, you know, I like I said it on the show a few shows back. I don't smoke pot, and I never really liked it, and I could care less if it went away for me personally. But I don't want my fellow gun owners who smoke pot or who use it for medicinal purposes or whatever to be denied their Second Amendment right because of it. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean that you need to lose your God-given rights because you use it. It's just go ahead, John.
I mean, it's the same with a lot of things. It's the same question about legal guns in general. Like, how many legally owned firearms actually shoot people? How many pot smokers are running around shooting people because they're high? Right, exactly. It's just another excuse to. Pot is just another excuse to either require registration for guns or ban those people altogether. It's
just
all
like
the same narrative. It all comes down to the same thing.
And one thing I was been really bugging me lately, Bill. Tell me what you think. But these no transfer laws. You know, they're trying to pass these laws where you can't transfer firearms, you know, to your children or whoever. And ultimately, it seems like they want the guns to die with the person, and have the family maybe have to turn them into the police department or something like that. But these no transfer laws really bug me. I think it's a long game where, you know, they know that people are eventually going to die and their guns are going to die with them if they can't transfer them. So I just wanted to get your thoughts.
I think that adds another layer of constitutional problems, which is now you get the Fifth Amendment involved in it. Well, unconstitutional takings. Yeah. Because now government's depriving people of private property without just compensation, which is in direct violation of the Fifth Amendment.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know a lot of people who would, my father, died and he's got all these old guns and the people aren't necessarily gun owners. And what do? They turn them into the local police department and stuff like that. And I think that's what the gun grabbers know or are kind of banking on.
Yeah, I think that those in the civilian disarmament movement are realizing that pesky little thing called the Constitution is going to continue to get in the way of their grand plans. And so what you're seeing now is different ways where they're trying to not even get the Second Amendment involved. So example, enhanced liabilities on gun stores and gun manufacturers, statutes that are designed to work around the PLCAA. You're taking a look at all sorts of new regulations on FFLs to increase their costs while at the same time reducing their revenues, get gun stores out of business, create Second Amendment deserts, mandatory insurance requirements, concealed carry requirements that are running thousands of dollars and in 12 months of time to get it. And so you're seeing all of these attempts to frustrate access to the Second Amendment versus just come out and flat out prohibit it. And that's just the multifaceted war that we've been engaged in for a long time. And unfortunately, I don't see it coming to an end anytime soon.
That's why I like talking to you, because you do have that view. You can see the larger picture, and there's so much more going on. When you, as they say, zoom out. Who was that? Said zoom out. No,
Scott Adams.
Scott Adams. Yeah,
he's dead.
Did he die?
Oh yeah, months ago.
Did he really? I did not.
I just figured out yesterday. That's why, partially why I'm waking up depressed every morning. Because for 9 years I woke up every morning and listened to Scott Adams, and now he's
I liked it. I liked it. That's too bad. I didn't know that.
But I was just thinking when you were mentioning all these ways that they're trying to push this narrative, it parallels a lot of places like California, where they're, first of all, if you want to drive a car in California, they make you pay outrageous fees for everything because they don't want you to drive cars, basically. They don't want you to build houses. So they make all these crazy regulations so that you,
we talk about Palisades,
and can't rebuild your house. Let's buy it and make government housing. Boy, that's going to be a good idea.
Unbelievable.
It's insanity.
Let me get to one of our sponsors real quick here. You want to know who's fighting for your gun rights? Gun Owners of America. Now, GOA is the no compromise gun rights group, so I urge you to become a member at gunowners.org. What have they done? Well, GOA secured a preliminary injunction against the ATF pistol brace rule. GOA members submitted a record 85,000 plus comments opposing the ATF's universal registration check rule. They helped enact permitless carry in Nebraska and Florida. GOA secured victories in California, Illinois, New Mexico, New York, Oregon, Pennsylvania, and Virginia. Plus, they won 2 legal victories against the ATF's zero tolerance policy. And GOA fought to overturn Joe Biden's ban on funding hunter education, shooting sports, and archery in schools. So, with all the constant attacks on our Second Amendment, we often ask ourselves, well, what can I do about it? Well, this is what you can do. You can become a member at gunowners.org and help us save the Second Amendment. And we're here with my good friend, William KIRK from Washington Gun Law. And so Bill, go ahead. Try to pick up where you were or what else you had on the agenda.
So
here.
we kind of talked about the good, and I want to leave with one last good thing. And it's for people who live in states that I kind of label as irrelevant states. I'm in one of them, Washington State. No one gives 2 craps about Washington. I haven't since the Grudge time. But to my friends out in New Mexico, and then what happens when you get this terrible legislation in states like California and New York, Illinois, all the big gun groups, they come running in right away. But when you're in some of these more obscure states, you don't get as much big national support. So you got to fight these things locally. And the New Mexico Firearm Owners Association, for 2 years in a row, has killed an assault weapon ban in New Mexico, where they absolutely positively had the votes to get it done. They did it again this year with Senate Bill 17. And so for those of you who are living behind enemy lines in really blue states and think it's hopeless, it's not true. You just got to dig your heels in. You got to organize, got to get your oars in the water and row the boat in the same direction. But you can fight these things and you can win. So I think that's all the good stuff.
Yeah, good.
Right.
Hey, the good news is great. We need more of it.
Everyone is good news. Now the dose of reality. The bad is this. We have a Supreme Court that just does not want to answer the tough questions. And for every Monday now, for a couple of months, myself and Costas over at Second Amendment Foundation and Hannah Hill over at NAGR, we've been getting up doing a Monday morning podcast to just see what comes out on the Supreme Court orders list. We got 5 cases right now before the United States Supreme Court that if they took any one of them, it would change the ball game forever.
Yeah.
And yet all we're doing is getting the can kicked down the road, and we're worried that it's going to get kicked down the road to eventual denial of the petition, which is the exact same journey we went on last year with 1 assault weapon ban and 1 magazine ban case. So it is the frustration level, because I do interact with my audience, my viewers. I really enjoy talking to them. And I can just sense that the frustration level and the lack of confidence in the nation's highest court by the Second Amendment community continues to grow the more they are unwilling to just answer some of the tough questions. And of course, the toughest question that needs to be answered is platform ban, magazine bans, semi-automatic rifle bans. They absolutely needs to be answered. And we have, like I say, 5 cases right now. Any one of them could be taken and it would change the ball game forever. One of which was filed in California back in 2017 and has been to the Supreme Court once before. So, I mean, think about the folks in California. If challenged this law in 2017, now it's 2026, and that law is still on the books, and it's still sitting before the Supreme Court with no answer.
Well, look, it took 7 years for the Bruin case to be resolved. I mean, that started in 15 and ended in 22, right?
Yeah, and that law had been in effect for how long, though? Because New York is
forever.
Right. Really bad on that issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you want to give us a brief on some of these cases?
Yeah, I'll give you all 5 of them real quick. The granddaddy of them all is Duncan v. Bonta. It's the challenge to California's magazine ban. There's another challenge on magazine bans, which comes out of my state, which has got a great name. Gators Customs Guns versus State of Washington. So, candidly, I think that's in second place, though, because I think the Duncan case deserves to be accepted. Then on the assault weapon ban side of things, you got 2 challenges out of Connecticut. One's called NAGR v. Lamont. The other one's called Grant v. Higgins. And then you got also a challenge to Cook County, Illinois' assault weapon ban in a case called Viramontes v. Cook County. Any one of those 5 cases gets taken, any one of them, and now we're addressing platform bans, we're addressing the common use doctrine, and we have an opportunity to actually make some significant headway through the United States Supreme Court.
So when do they determine whether these cases get taken or not, and who determines this?
Well, the justices determine it, and it only takes 4 justices to accept the case for review. They conference on Fridays while they're in session, so tomorrow they will be in conference, and what goes on at that conference, I don't know. But on Monday morning, 9:30 on the East Coast, which means I get to do this thing at 6:30 on the West Coast, they release an orders list, and an orders list will either list the cases they've accepted, it will list all the cases that are denied, but if you don't appear in either one of those 2 lists, then you know you're just getting rescheduled. And that's what we've been dealing with week after week after week.
Now, what's your overview on if one of these cases does get called, and what kind of odds do we have?
I think we have fantastic odds, and that's why I want to see it happen now, because I do think that this court is probably as well situated ever as to definitively announce the common use doctrine, which would just terminate magazine bans and assault weapon bans nationwide.
What are you thinking? 75%, 80% odds?
I think you got 6 votes already.
Okay.
I do. Everyone, especially after seeing the line of questioning that came from the justices during the only of the conservative justices, the only one I would be a little worried about is actually the Chief Justice.
Of course. Roberts.
Yeah.
No,
Roberts.
Yeah, John Roberts. No, the 3. Oh no, I can guarantee you, the 3 liberal justices. They'll love assault.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And then you have a potential that there's rumors floating around that Justice Alito, a staunch Second Amendment supporter, could be retiring at the end of this term. So then we're going to get to that. And if he's thinking about retiring, the time to do it would be at the end of this term, before the midterm election, right? You don't know what the Senate looks like after the midterm, so get it done now.
Yeah. Yeah. Boy, so touchy. My gosh, everything could change with one.
I'll tell you the case that changes the whole world. The case that changes the whole world's actually in New Jersey, because they challenged New Jersey's assault weapon ban in a case called Cheeseman v. Platkin. It was set before a 3-judge panel of the Third Circuit. The 3-judge panel never got a chance to hear the case because a full en banc panel came in. The whole Third Circuit said, no, we're just going to take it. We're going to take it. And they did the arguments on it. And I listened to the oral arguments, and it sounded like it went our way. And what's also happened in the Third Circuit is that between Trump 1.0 and Trump 2.0, he's got 5 judges appointed there. And so there's suddenly been this conservative shift into the Third Circuit where it's an 8-6 conservative majority. So there's a high probability that the New Jersey assault weapon ban could be struck down by the Third Circuit. Of course, the Attorney General there will crap their pants, immediately appeal to the United States Supreme Court. But at that point, what you got, guys, is a circuit split. And that's one of the criteria that the United States Supreme Court uses in determining whether they should take a case or not. Because when you have circuit splits, you now have people living under different constitutional standards around the country, depending on what a federal court has said about it. And that really almost guarantees then that the United States Supreme Court has to take one of these cases.
Now, I mean, historically, they tend to kind of just avoid Second Amendment cases altogether. Isn't that true?
That is true.
And why?
Because I think they view it as a political hot potato.
So is that what happened with the? How quick were they to take the abortion case, the big abortion case not too long ago? Was that something that was that a battle?
Yeah, the Dobbs case took a while to get there, but you take a look at look at how many things have they done with the Trump administration on emergency basis?
Yeah.
Dealing with injunctions on ICE detentions and tariffs, and I mean, my God, you can almost have another 5 justices appointed simply just to deal with all the crap that Trump gets sued for. And I'm not criticizing the Trump administration for all of that, because I get a lot of them are frivolous suits, but yeah, and you see some of the other issues that get accepted by the Supreme Court, and you're like, really, we need to decide this, but we're not going to decide what the Second Amendment means. really. So
Exactly. It's stupid. John says
Yeah,
it's
it is.
stupid.
Stupid.
yeah, so that's the bad. And then the big ugly, the
Oh,
big
yeah, that's right.
ugly
We
in
got
the
ugly.
United, we got ugly, and the big ugly in the United States right now is going on in Virginia.
Oh,
Okay,
yes.
because when kind of slowly deteriorate into full civilian disarmament, it typically takes 5, 6, 7 legislative sessions for it to happen. You know, it's just death by 1,000 paper cuts.
Yeah.
The Virginia state legislature is using the same model that killed the dinosaurs, which is they want to just smash a massive meteor into
meteor,
it. And just,
right.
oh, that's it, we're done, you know? And so you got assault weapon ban, magazine ban, pre-purchasing licensing, extreme FFL licensing requirements, all sorts of age restrictions, expanding red flag law. It's literally every pet project law that the progressives want when it comes to civilian disarmament. Every single one is not only being introduced in Virginia, they've all passed out of their house of origin. They've already advanced through the committees in the opposite chamber. I mean, Spanberger is going to have a stack of gun bills this high to sign here pretty soon.
Well, let me add a little bit to the Virginia stuff, because I had a conversation. I wrote two articles in Ammo Land. One was they got rid of the $500 tax on suppressors or something. I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
And then
whether they got rid of it, Dan, or they just didn't have time to get through it because they had so many other civilian disarmament bills, I'm not really sure.
Well, when I was talking to Philip Van Cleve from Virginia Citizens Defense League, I was asking him, like, what the heck is going on? You guys got so much stuff going on. He says, yes, but wait a minute. He said, we just talked to them, and there's been a few minor changes just recently, and this stuff is changing as we speak. But he said that a couple things had changed. They put back in the grandfather clause on some of this stuff, and then there was something with the 18 to 20-year-olds where they backed off on that as well, if I remember right.
Yeah, I know for certain that the grandfathering clause, which started in both the magazine and assault weapon ban bill, they call them assault firearms, is how they're going to label
firearms,
them in Virginia.
right? Exactly.
Yes, assault firearm. That was in the bill, then got removed by a committee, then got added back in. But and I know everyone's like, okay, so they're not going to make me give up my firearms. Okay, that's fine. You can think that. But just last year in Rhode Island, they passed an assault weapon ban. But don't worry, they were only going to ban the commercial sale of it, just like we did in Washington. Yeah. What's on the slate this year in Rhode Island? Oh, a new bill that amends that statute. And all it does is add one word. One word gets added to the statute, and the word is possess.
Yeah, yeah.
And so now there's a bill kicking around in Rhode Island that, if enacted into law, you will have to forfeit, destroy, render inoperable, or transfer out of state firearms by the end of the calendar year.
You know what else?
Remember, they said they're not coming for your guns, Dan.
No, of course not. No. But we're not coming for your guns. We support the Second Amendment, but now I think
it's like an apology that has the word "however" in it. Yeah. If you ever use an apology and throw the word "however" in there, it's not really an apology, right. Is it?
Now, tell me if. I was just doing some research on Minneapolis, and they're looking to do safe storage along with, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was Minneapolis, along with in-home home inspections, which you knew was coming. I mean, how are they going to enforce safe storage laws if they don't eventually try to normalize the idea of feds coming into your home to inspect your gun safe? What can you tell us about this? Anything?
Yeah, what I want all your viewers to understand is that the Bill of Rights is intertwined more ways than you realize. And what you're beginning to see now, as we talked earlier about how when that Second Amendment keeps getting in the way of things, what are they doing? Well, you're seeing attacks on the First Amendment. You're seeing attacks on the Fourth Amendment. You're seeing attacks on the rights of privacy. We need to know who all the donors are to GOA. Well, you can't possess certain computer files, which, computer files are considered to be free expression, right? All of these other things where they're, mandatory. We'll allow you to keep these firearms but you'll have to register them with the state, and you're subject to mandatory inspections of your home.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can get to exercise my Second Amendment right as long as I forfeit my right to privacy and forfeit my right to be free from unreasonable searches and seizures. Okay,
Right.
that's a fair trade.
You're
literally right. That's literally the bargaining that they're trying to do with this.
Yeah.
Like, all right, we'll let you exercise your second. You just got to waive your first, your fourth, and your fifth.
Well, you're not even exercising your second. You're handing the government your Fourth Amendment for the illusion of having a Second Amendment. It's ridiculous.
You're absolutely correct.
Any comments, you guys?
I want to know who started it all.
Who started it all?
Letting
Well,
this happen.
It started, I think, and Bill might correct me, but I think it really started with the NFA back in 1934. Bill?
Gun control started before we ever declared our independence. And gun control, from the very inception, was based on one thing and one thing only, and that is complete and abject racism. That is the formulation of all forms of gun control.
That's true.
Okay? It's born out of racism. Now, we certainly are trying to disarm larger swaths of people now in certain states, and these categorical bans that the Democrats keep arguing for, like if you belong to a certain category of people, you should be able to be disarmed. That's a very, very dangerous argument. But if you trace back to the earliest forms of disarmament laws, going all the way back into the early 1700s in the colonial times, it was all, we're going to disarm Native Americans, we're going to disarm the Loyalists, we're going to disarm the Catholics. Once the slaves are freed, what did every single state do? Pass Jim Crow gun laws, right?
Yeah.
You know, the African Americans are not allowed to be armed. Period. Right?
Yeah.
They're in a category of the whole 14th Amendment was passed because we literally were saying, well, I know they're free slave, but they don't really have constitutional rights now, do they?
Mm. Yeah, good point.
The Saturday Night Special laws. You guys ever heard of the Saturday Night Special laws? Right? What were those? Because there were firearms that were predominantly purchased by the African American community. They were a little bit more affordable.
Affordable, easy to get, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be like, you know, if you wanted to go ban, we're not going to ban handguns in this state. We're just going to ban everything that High Point Forest makes. Okay. And I'm not knocking on either. I'm not going to get into the quality of those firearms, but they are lower priced firearms that would serve a certain community that can't afford to go out and buy, you know, the really nice shadow system stuff, things like that. But are their lives worth preserving and defending? Of course they are.
Yeah. Yeah, good point. Wow. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hey, Bill, I know you're in a hurry. You got some other
I gotta go play
interviews.
lawyer. I gotta go play lawyer for a little bit, and then I get to go play podcaster. So I get to wear different hats today.
Well, we really appreciate it. You're a wealth of knowledge, a good friend, and I appreciate you being on the show. Where can people find you?
YouTube, Washington Gun Law, X at Gun Washington, and I'm sure I'm on Facebook, but does anyone go to Facebook anymore? So anyways, thanks for having me.
You got it, man. Anytime. Thanks for being here. All right, Bill. Thanks, pal.
The Cali Key removes your AR from the definition of an assault weapon. It lets you keep your rifle with all its features, avoid registration hassles, and transport in hostile jurisdictions. The Cali Key also lets you hunt in jurisdictions like Pennsylvania and enhances long-range precision shooting. Cali Key's expert legal opinions empower informed decisions, and sales help grassroots Second Amendment organizations. Cali Key is your tool to keep and equip your AR, empower yourself, and defend your civil rights.
Our founding fathers saw them coming over 200 years away. That's why they wrote the Second Amendment. Join us in the fight to preserve your gun rights and stop unconstitutional gun control. Gun Owners of America is the country's only no-compromise gun rights organization. Not only do we inform and educate, but we bring the fight to court and win. Your God-given right to keep and bear arms is our top priority. Become a member today and help us take back America. Join us at gunowners.org.
2, 1, rolling.
All right. Well, we're back. We had a great conversation with Bill Kirk. Glad to have him on the show.
Is he related to Charlie Kirk?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
So I don't know where Charlie Kirk is from, but I know Bill Kirk is from Washington State, and so I don't know. But he just loaded us up with a whole bunch of knowledge about all sorts of stuff. We talked about the Virginia gun laws, West Virginia, how we're got some wins over there in West Virginia, and just all sorts of stuff.
What's wrong with Virginia, the state, though? I mean,
It's funny because West Virginia and Virginia completely different
It's so
ideologies.
stupid because we've been there a number of times,
Yeah.
right, to Virginia, and it's always controversial stuff, and it's like, what's wrong with these people?
Yeah, yeah. Because a lot of liberals live in Richmond, and then you can go to little towns like Alexandria, which is a really nice town, but it's all liberals, and they're all voting left. And you're right next to Washington D.C., so a lot of people who work in D.C.
Sure, that makes sense. Or Virginia residents.
Yeah,
And he also told us how useless the Supreme Court is.
yeah.
I've been saying that forever. They're just useless.
They need to take one of these cases, right, and get that straightened out.
Yeah.
Need to make some kind of before the court changes, because who knows who could be president in 3 years, and it could be craziness.
Yeah, yeah, and everybody seems very confident that once we get one of these so-called assault weapon, semi-automatic rifle bans and ammo and magazines and all that stuff, and we get it to the Supreme Court, that everyone's confident that we're gonna win. There's always that little fear, like what happens if the Supreme Court justices just kind of go freaking sideways on us, and there's always that little risk.
That could be bad.
But everyone seems pretty confident that that's not going to happen. So we're trying desperately to get one of these cases. He said there's 5 cases right now.
Yeah. That's good.
So yeah, because look, try to buy AR-15 in New York State. What's it look like? It's like a freaking rod with nothing on it, and you can't have a detachable magazine. You can only have 10 rounds, by the way. You can either have a detachable magazine, and that's it.
Or no handle.
Right. You can't have any other accessories. You can't have a pistol grip. You can't.
What has that got to do with anything?
It's so stupid.
I don't understand.
Nothing.
It's to deter you from buying it, because I held one of them. It's awful.
It's awful. They're trying to curb the stock.
There's just
so
no
have
way
something
you
to
can
grab
shoot
on.
it without a grip.
Okay, I got you.
It's like a dog's nub tail. Like, you know what I mean?
I don't know what that is.
Anthony's
You
got
know when they
dogs.
cut
He
a
knows
a
about
dog's
those
tail
things.
off,
Oh,
that
it's just a little nub.
wag. That's what it looks like.
You can't really get a hold of it, right?
You're just like, well, I get it. As soon as you shoot it, it's going that way.
Yeah.
But you have nothing to hold on to.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
So you get to pick and choose what one's going to work best for you. Do I want the detachable or do I want the grip?
It's
Because you can't have both.
and somehow this is saving lives.
Yeah.
It's like, grilled cheese, you want the bread or you want the cheese?
So what do you want?
You're not getting both.
We're going to call it a grilled cheese, but you
You can
can't
call
have
it whatever you want, but you're not getting the damn cheese.
Got a bowl of cereal. You're either get the cereal or the milk.
So you're just going to get the cheese in your hand and you're going to have to lick it off. That's all that's going to happen.
That's disgusting.
Oh boy. You want the gun? No bullets.
That's it. And it's awful to load too. With the fixed magazine is terrible.
Oh, yeah.
You'd be there all day loading. You'd be dead already. Wait a minute. I gotta,
Well,
hold
see,
on.
everybody always looks at it from the offensive use perspective and not from the defensive use perspective, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here comes somebody. I need to get this ready to go. Okay, they've made it as hard as possible. I'm dead. Oh, sorry.
And even the speed
Bye-bye.
loader, by the time
Be
you
gone.
get it, you're already done.
He was trying to load. He's gone. He's gone.
That's it. What's this?
This guy over here in the corner is getting up.
What the hell is this gun? It only has a nipple and a handle. What is this thing? Throw it away.
So ridiculous.
And they want like $2,000 for one of them.
I don't even understand.
It's insane.
I don't
Listen,
understand.
you can keep that nub.
Anyway,
So everything would change if one of these cases gets to the Supreme Court and we win. And I just wonder what the trickle down effect to all the states.
yeah, like what will Hochul do?
Yeah.
Ignore the Supreme Court decision?
She seems to ignore everything else. She just keeps getting sued, and then she drags the cases get dragged out for another 7 years, like the Bruin case.
Is her election this year?
Yep.
And then 8 days later, after the Bruin case, after we won, she had a whole new package of laws. Okay, we're going to start over again. What?
And that's where I say the Supreme Court should be stepping in and saying,
Right.
no.
Put your foot down.
But they let these liberal governors do whatever they want.
Well, I think the court makes the decision, but it's not up to them to enforce the stuff, right?
Exactly.
So
They don't enforce it.
that's where the break is, because you have all these local officials who are just like Hochul, who controls whatever in New York State, right? She's the chief executive, so she can make a stink and do stupid things, and we have to put up with it until we can find a way to get around it. But that really sucks for everybody involved.
Hey, let me get to one of our sponsors real quick. The Cali Key. Now, this device, the Cali Key, removes your AR from the definition of assault weapon. Did you know that when so-called assault weapon ban lists are created, they exclude manually operated bolt-action firearms? So just by dropping this device, this Cali Key, into your direct impingement AR in place of your semi-automatic BCG, you'll have a bolt-action rifle that falls outside the definition of assault weapon. So you don't need to do anything else. So give the Cali Key a look, because with it, you could retain all your rifle's features, avoid registration complications, revive your black rifle sales if you're an FFL, regain the ability to do private party transfers, legally transport across hostile jurisdictions, hunt with your AR in areas like Pennsylvania, enhance long-range precision and quieter suppress shooting. Cali Key has state-specific expert attorney opinions on its website and supports grassroots Second Amendment organizations with its sales. Cali Key's mission is to empower customers and claw back our civil liberties. So go to CaliKey.com and use the discount code LOADED. CaliKey.com, discount code LOADED. So, yeah, one of these cases gets to the Supreme Court. We could have some good news among the Second Amendment. So, but all right. What else we want to talk about? Anthony's girl, Jasmine.
Jazzy, dumber than a box of Crockett's.
Who's the guy coming in? What's his name? Casio?
Oh,
The guy who's running, who won the primary?
Talarco or Terrell, blah, 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 blah.
Casio, I think his name.
He's a middle school teacher. He's not qualified.
The funny part, Anthony and I were talking before the show, she's blaming Republicans for her loss of in the Democratic primary.
She's a witch.
How's that? Oh, they didn't let me vote. Listen, you were down 9 points. You weren't coming back. You weren't. In 2 hours, you weren't going to get that many votes. So
Poor
just
Jazzy.
go away. Go use your fake lawyer degree like Kamala and go do something.
I want her to come out and start talking all ghetto again.
Well, she will.
Maybe because these people, they are crazy because they always talk about how Christian they is. Yeah, I don't know how many of them on that side are getting divorced because they getting caught up sleeping with their co-workers, staffers, interns, all the things. Yeah, you ain't got to believe me. Just go Google. You'll find some of it.
That was fun.
We got to stick together. Shut up, stupid. She's done absolutely nothing since she's been in Congress. Nothing.
Well, it's I was just listening on the Crowder on the way in, and they had clips of some military guy who's deployed wife, and she's saying, "Oh, I don't agree with all this stuff. My husband doesn't agree with this. You know, he didn't sign up for this." And I'm like, if he joined the military, he signed up for whatever he gets. He's not the boss.
I guess
he
he
can't
didn't-
go fight when he wants to go fight.
I guess
And
he
you're
didn't
probably
read the
getting
small
him-
print.
And you're probably getting him in trouble by doing this. By
Oh, yeah.
being on, social media saying all this stupid stuff.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of that going on out there. People are saying, "Oh, Republicans are all turning against Trump and this and that and everything else." I'm like, who? Who's turning?
Who's turning against it? No.
People are idiots.
It's just all, there's so much garbage propaganda coming from the left. You don't even know what's real anymore. It's crazy.
They're
They're turning on each other. No, we're not.
no.
I don't ever see it. Maybe.
Well, they're desperate for some sort of division within the Republican Party, and they're not getting it. They're not getting the division. We're actually Trump's support for his approval rating is 80. Oh, I hope I get this right. I think it was like 86%.
a higher upper 80s.
And at this time during previous presidencies, Obama, Clinton, I think Bush, they were only around in the 70s. Of their own party.
Right.
Of their own party.
Plus, what I heard is that 95% of people that voted for Trump say they vote for him again. And that's all that matters.
Yeah.
All these people are all worried about all this stuff. I go, you don't have the numbers. What are you talking about? We're not falling apart over here. And this is, again, somebody explained to me that, I've seen a lot of things. Well, after this, do you still support Trump? And I says, you don't understand that. We're not getting our marching orders from the top. We elected a person who reflects what we think are the right values.
Yeah, right.
That's why he's elected. You guys, I don't know what you do, because all the values that you're campaigning on are things that 90% of the people don't have any interaction with at all.
Yeah.
It's all fringe people, all fringe groups, and all crazy stuff, and just stuff that, you know, even when it comes down to the gun laws, you're worried about stuff. You're trying to get back at people who never shoot anybody.
Yeah.
If it's a gun problem, 400 million legal guns every year, never shoot anybody. Why is that a problem?
So is it you use the word getting back? And I agree. Some of them probably are trying to get, it's probably in a spiteful nature toward Republicans. I also think that it's a way of disarming their political opposition. They don't want their political opposition to have firearms. But I think what you said is right. You know, they'll just do it just to spite Republicans. A lot of them.
They need hobbies, you know. They need projects to work on or something. Go rebuild a car. Go paint a house. Do something.
Do something. You smart enough for that? Do you want them working on a car?
Well, not my
Your
car.
freaking wheels
I'm
are
talking
falling.
about their
Tighten
car.
those lug nuts?
Yeah.
What are lug nuts?
I'm going to have a liberal work on my
Car's
car.
going down a road like this. Back and back and back. You know, let's talk about the State of the Union anyway, about the Democrats and how they are just the most pathetic human beings in the world.
Oh, Trump played him hard, man. That was bad.
When you sit down, when not the Iranian, the hell was the girl that got killed on the train?
Yeah,
she was Ukrainian.
Her parents were there. Those dirtbags just sat down.
Yeah.
See, and this is the kind of thing that the left is right there every time they want somebody in the right. Answer this question. What do you think about this?
Yeah.
And then when Trump does it to them,
Yeah.
they got nothing.
Children.
I love the way he trapped them, though.
Oh, absolutely.
That was the best part. He said, stand up if you agree, and stand up and support this message if you agree with it, that Congress should be looking out for American citizens before
Absolutely.
Illegal immigrants, and they all sat.
Basic concepts, right? Just basic common sense
That
stuff.
right there should tell you all you need to know about the Democrats.
I think we know. I think everybody knows. I think even the Democrat voters know. But they're so locked into their team, their tribe, that they look at it as just okay, well, yeah, we're wrong here or whatever, but I'm still supporting my team. Just like a team that's losing in football. You still support, you're cheering them on.
Right. But they expect us to turn on Trump because of one thing that they don't like. Oh, now you're still supporting Trump? What are you talking about? I'm not even paying attention to these things that you're building up into something that you think matters to me, but it doesn't matter to me.
The Epstein files. We have to hear any more about
that.
that.
The heck cares? Jeez. Ugh. What's it going to change? What's it going to fix? How will my life be made better by something happening, anything with the Epstein files?
You support a pedophile. Prove it.
He's a child rapist.
Prove it.
Really?
They're just hoping for anything against
There's
Trump.
nothing
But
in
they
there.
they speak like idiots when they say stuff like that. That's what I keep telling people. I go, you keep going down here. Everybody that's reading this, your credibility is going down and down. Or you say one thing and it's out the window for a lot of these people. They just say
I don't even
something
care
really
about the Epstein
stupid.
files.
Well, Iran, as soon as we hit Iran,
They were already out protesting the next day.
they're
Professional signs, new flags. Palestine was gone. Iran was in.
they traded
Right?
their signs.
Literally, and it's like the signs were pre-made and ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
But the getting rid of the leadership of Iran and freeing the people of Iran is such a benefit to on so many levels. And then they're saying, here's the thing they're saying. They're going, Trump has no end game. What's the end result? Well, if you've been paying attention, the end result is to free the people, is to change the leadership, is to free up oil, and to
Changes everything.
it changes the whole thing, and to prevent the leading terrorist country from having a nuclear weapon.
I heard yesterday they were a month and a half from having 13 warheads.
How is eliminating them a bad thing?
They didn't attack us, Dan.
It's just so amazing. They'll defeat themselves to support their
Let's
idiot.
think back. If we had information about stuff like this back in World War II and we could have stopped Japan from hitting Pearl Harbor, would have changed the whole world.
Yeah.
Right? You wouldn't even have had a war in the Pacific if you had had information and had the ability to do stuff.
I just love how the liberals were okay with Obama sending billions of dollars of money on a pallet.
Right.
Yeah.
Hillary giving them uranium. That was okay.
Yeah.
That's the. So we're giving them enough money to build a nuclear bomb to use against us, but they were okay with that.
Well, and the left keeps voting for it. The women on the left keep voting for it. And what do they want to wear? Hijabs? What do they want to do?
I don't know. It's crazy.
This is what kills me about these people. Like, they talk. Oh my God, blah blah blah. Listen, I'll buy your plane ticket to Iran. You get off the plane. You walk out into that airport with your short shorts and your tank top on, with nothing on your head, and I guarantee your head's rolling down the street. You see, that's what I don't like about them. They don't know anything.
Well, because they live in such a protected environment that they don't understand that this real harm that is coming to these women in Iran that they're dealing with, the real suppression.
Women, gay people, anybody that is off the mainstream, they're just not accepted.
But our liberal women are so blind to that stuff, and they're so stupid. I think that they would love to wear hijabs, until they realized that wearing that hijab is part of a larger oppression. And if they got the chance to experience that, they'd change their tune.
First of all, half the TikTok people would go out of business instantly, right? You wouldn't be able to put videos up of anything.
OnlyFans will be closed.
All of them, OnlyFans will be closed. Everything will be closed.
Right. There you go.
Now, self-made rich people will be out of business.
Yeah. So tell them that. Say you won't be able to do OnlyFans anymore. All you got to do is see your ugly face. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't want to see your mug.
Yeah.
Or your little eyes peeking out of the shadow box.
Yeah, your bug eyes.
That's not sexual fun at all. We can do this to me?
Oh, she blinked.
Ooh,
how
I
sexy.
like it. Sexy.
Ooh.
Send me a video.
Ooh, she blinked.
You guys watch this stuff.
I can see her eyebrow right
If I turn her upside down.
Ooh,
I wonder if the
that's
drapes
hot.
match the carpet.
That's why oh my God, you just want to smack a liberal.
Well, maybe we should have smack a liberal
Well,
day.
it's a shallow, emotionally based consensus thing.
And plus, they
that
never
live in. And
they
they
don't
don't need
live
to
it.
know much. Just need to know a little bit. And okay, I agree with that. I'll go over here, and this feels good to me. So because all these people around me all agree with me, so I must be right.
And even the Iranian women saying,
Right.
shut up. You don't know what we're going through here. You have no idea.
Well, I've seen,
and that's what the whole point is. Shut up. You don't know.
I've seen pictures of Iranian women in the 70s, before 1979.
It's a real country.
They're wearing skirts and pants.
Going to college, doing their stuff. Exactly.
They were able to have. They looked good. They were enjoying life, and then all of a sudden
Driving cars.
And then the terrorist regime came in, and
So think about the women who back in 1979 were in their early 20s, and they were enjoying that life. Now, how old are they now?
50s, 60s.
Now they know, and they know the difference. And can you imagine being in that position, knowing how oppressed you really are, remembering when you were young what life was like?
We got to find a way to get those women guns.
But then having liberal women in America condemn you for wanting freedom again.
Makes no sense.
That they have here.
Makes no sense.
Liberals have been so brainwashed. It's really, really sad, and it's scary because it's going to take a lot to get them back to a place of logic.
Well, it's the same kind of mentality where people moving from California go to Texas and then still vote like they're in California. It's the same kind of thing. It's like, what are you doing?
It's self-defeating.
You're pulling your own rug out from under yourself. Yeah. You're shooting yourself in the foot. What are you doing? Stop doing this. But you got to zoom out and look at that stuff and what's going on.
I think it's a lack of knowledge, and then it's an abundance of false data, and then it's also this need for tribalism. This that's a powerful thing. They want nothing more than to just their team to win. And it seems like they're willing to defeat their own lives, their own families, and their own future generations to somehow win this political war. I don't get it. It's so dumb.
It's like they intentionally want to destroy the country. That's what it looks like from the outside, right?
Yeah,
like these are all this. If you want to destroy the country, do this, and this. It's written out in many books, right? Yeah. How do you do this? There they go, following the playbook. And then they all say, well, we're on the right side of everything. You're this, you're that, you're fascist, you're Hitler.
Look at New York City right now.
I can't wait to see what happens there.
Yeah.
It's already begun.
Yeah.
There's garbage 40 feet high,
Why can't
feces everywhere on the street.
Feces.
why can't this commie Mandami at least get the garbage picked up? What is the problem? Eric Adams was fine.
I guess the workers are striking because they're not getting it. They're not getting paid.
Oh, okay. Well,
So they're not picking the garbage up.
yeah. Well, I don't blame him.
What's coming? What's going to happen when all the snow melts and who's coming out of the sewers? The rats that are size of dogs.
It's gonna stink so bad. New York City already stinks.
We need adoption.
Do we lose our microphones?
Rats. Rat adoption.
I think we
Danny
lost.
say something?
I think we lost our mics.
I'm here.
Are we?
not here.
How close are we getting, Danny? We got to wrap it up.
No, I didn't touch anything.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you got time.
Anyway, New York City already stinks. It's getting worse.
It already stink. We should go down. We get some hazmat suits and go down and walk around town and stuff.
No way.
Wake up in the morning on the west side of down, I don't know, let's say 30th Street, down in that area. I remember I was playing in a band down there. I'd stay down there in that area on the west side? It was on the Hudson side. And you wake up in the morning and you just try to go. I tried to go down to the local shop to get a bagel or something. And the stink is so bad, especially on garbage day. On garbage day, forget it. And then you're seeing bums like between cars taking a dump. It's just, it's awful.
Oh, it's got to be way worse.
Now you're making me think. I want to reach out to some musician friends in New York City and ask them, like, what's going on down there? Tell me what's happening. Is
And it depends
bad?
on where you are, of course.
Oh,
but,
sure.
I'm sure on the upside, like above the park and stuff.
Oh,
in the
like Greenwich
50s.
Village, where Howard Stern, the
Well, that's
douche
down-
lives.
yeah,
well,
that's-
you know that's super clean.
Yeah.
They're taking care of the rich people.
Well, up near the park and stuff, up Upper East Side is
What's
gonna be
going
nice.
on in the park? People camping there and stuff still? What's
I don't know. I haven't been in New York City in a long
He
time.
took that clause away where you can do encampments now
See, why don't we see that? Why don't we see that on the news every day?
because they don't want to. Because the liberal news will never show you that. They're going to show you
wanna
all
know.
the lies,
gonna
But
start
the
looking around.
poop and the garbage is. Imagine the summer if that's not picked up. The rats are going to be everywhere.
See, I think Anthony, while he's sleeping at work, can look up all this stuff for us.
I don't know. New York City is in big trouble.
It is.
Well, we'll see, and it's right here, so we'll be able to know.
They had their grocery store. You know,
well, hey, we can go down and take a little field trip if you want.
yeah. I don't know about going down there.
Anthony's got his new Jeep.
We'll take his new Jeep.
I don't think I ever want to go to New York City.
Well, I feel that way about driving to Albany. Somebody wrote yesterday locally on Facebook about moving from Gloversville, about how bad it was, and they wanted to move to Amsterdam. You know why? Because they had dispensaries there. That's why they wanted to move to Amsterdam. I go,
What a
it's like
loser.
12 miles. You can't drive 12 miles. We need to get. But anyway, they were saying something about slumlords in Gloversville and things like that.
Here we go.
But then people were saying about, well, you know, I live in Albany and it's great, this and that. I says, really? I said, I used to live in Albany, and I said, I don't even want to drive through Albany now. And they go, well, and they were complaining about venues and parking and this and that, and how there should be places in downtown. They were talking about one local big rock club down there. I says, yeah, you get off the highway and you park and you're right there. You don't have to, and it's right by the Palace Theater, so it's an upper scale.
You don't have to
block.
deal with anything.
You don't have to deal
Well,
with
that's
anything.
Clinton Ave right there, too. If you just take a walk,
Well,
if
you
just
go
walk
up
a
3-4
block,
blocks, yeah. Then you're in Tenbrook, and then you're in the other places and stuff. But I mean, that area. But you put something like that on Central Avenue. Like the last time I was on Central Avenue, less than a year ago, I didn't recognize, and my studio was right there for 9 years, and I didn't
remember.
recognize anything.
They had
on
a
that
Chinese
block.
food place across the street. We used to always eat there.
Ichiban.
Ichiban.
It's where Adam Shartalk used to go all the time.
5-10 minute. Danny knows that.
That
place.
city is a disaster. And of course, the mayor's like, I'm going to bring nightlife back. Shut up, stupid.
All right. On that note, we're going to wrap it up. But thanks for watching The Loaded Mic on Rumble, YouTube, and all our podcast platforms. Check us out on the Spreely Network at Spreely.com. My name is Dan Wass, and remember, the Second Amendment is not a privilege. It's your right